Hello, and welcome to junkfaxdefense.com. In this article I would like to talk about the injustice of the United States fax laws, and how unfair it is that junk fax attorneys are allowed to abuse the court system's time, money and resources to win millions of dollars suing the small businessman for sending fax advertisements. I have been involved in the fax broadcast industry for over 30 years. Back in the day there were no laws regarding the sending of fax advertisements. I made a great living, and was able to pay my bills, and take care of my family with no interference from junk fax lawyers, the FCC, attorney generals, etc. As a matter of fact, there were no fax laws when I started faxing back in the early 1980s. It was all good until some of the cheapest people on the planet started complaining about the wasted paper and ink. Even though they knew that the local restaurant owner right down the street, who was faxing them daily lunch specials, was just trying to feed his kids, and was hoping to put a few extra dollars in his pocket, to keep the business open so they could live the American dream. My guess is that 99.5% of people in America love to receive daily lunch specials and upcoming events by fax. I say this because I know that there are over 6 million fax numbers in the United States, and if all 6 million people with a fax machine sued each restaurant for faxing them a daily lunch special from their local restaurant, that the courts would be completely overwhelmed. It's sad to say that the American public cannot even receive a lunch special by fax from their local pizza shop, isn't it? I thought that was how America was built. Whatever happened to our First Amendment right of freedom of speech? It is also sad to say that the United States government and the court system continues to allow junk fax attorneys to make millions of dollars suing hard-working Americans and wasting the court's time, money and resources with ridiculous fax lawsuits. The real truth is that the junk fax attorneys are probably the ones wasting millions of taxpayer dollars by bringing frivolous lawsuits to the courts. The fact of the matter is that the junk fax attorneys have been abusing the court system for years, to create lawsuits, and their only mission is to certify the class action lawsuit against the defendant. Once they certify the class action lawsuit, they tell the defendant that you can either settle with us for a certain dollar amount, or take it to court, and end up with the possibility of paying 10 times more than we are asking. In 99% of the cases it never goes to trial. This means that the junk fax attorney, the plaintiff and class members get all the money and the court system gets nothing. Long story short, the junk fax attorneys abuse the court's resources and the threat of going to trial that never happens. This means that the judge and court reporters, etc. are spending their time making the junk fax attorneys rich on the taxpayers' dollars, when they could be serving the public with more important cases. Can you believe it? If you don't believe me, go see how many junk fax cases actually went to trial. My guess is that you won't find one that went to trial. Here is a prime example of a junk fax attorney abusing the court system to try to win a case they could not win. Medco gets junk fax lawsuit tossed because faxes were not ads advertising property, goods or services. Listen to what Judge Carr had to say about a recent junk fax case. Judge Carr noted that healthcare providers, such as Sandusky Wellness, often complain about frivolous litigation. The judge said that description is not far off the mark, if off it at all. While by noting that fact I do not invite, or expect to receive a motion for sanctions. I trust this opinion will serve as a warning to the plaintiff and others, who receive faxes of this sort, which serve a useful, and not a disruptive or illegal purpose, not to file similar fruitless litigation in the future. Let's get back to why businesses that use fax advertising to get the word out find that fax advertising increases sales, and is a good thing, and not a bad thing like the junk fax attorneys would like you to think. The restaurant owner faxes specials because it increases his sales and keeps his doors open. He might be faxing to increase sales so he can hire more employees or buy a new car for the family, and at the same time help the people in the car manufacturing plants in Detroit keep their jobs. Maybe it was the life insurance agent who sent fax advertisements, and happened to sell a life insurance policy to an elderly couple, where the husband actually died 4 months later. His widow actually called the life insurance agent, and thanked him from the bottom of her heart, for calling her that day, when she and her husband received the fax advertisement, and bought the life insurance policy. She told the agent, that if it would not have been for the life insurance policy, that she and her husband bought, that she would not have had the money to bury her husband. That is a true story, and that is not the only story I have. It could have been about the mortgage refinancing fax ad that was sent out. If it were not for the fax ad they received, they would have lost their home, and would have had to go out and rent an apartment or be homeless. I could go on and on about the benefits of fax advertising. I mean, God forbid. The cost of a piece of paper and ink combined is about 1/4 cent in the year 2015. Mind you, it is still 100% legal to send faxes in Canada, England and many other countries today. Then came the Telephone Consumer Protection Act of 1991, that was passed by the United States Congress and signed into law by President George H. W. Bush, as Public Law 102-243. Then came the Junk Fax Prevention Act of 2005. When the 2005 version of the fax law passed, the United States government again made sure that political ads were legal. Imagine that! Why is a politician allowed to send faxes hoping to be elected or re-elected to office, and the person that is only trying to keep his business open to feed his kids can't? They also made sure that non-profit organizations were exempt from the fax law, so long as they do not offer anything for the sale of property, goods or services. Now, how much sense does the fax law really make? What the United States government did was create a law that allows any politician or non-profit organization to be allowed to waste millions of pages of paper and ink at the taxpayer's expense, and there is nothing we can do about it. If you ask me, the United States government did not do a very good job creating the fax law. If you think that the fax law is unfair, wait until you hear this. The junk fax attorneys started to pop up all over the country to see if they could get a piece of the $500 per fax penalty that a person could get if they received a junk fax and wanted to go to small claims court to collect. When the fax law was set up, it was meant to be a civil offense, not a criminal offense, where you could personally go to small claims court and collect $500 per fax. The fax law was written in a way that a person could go to court to collect in small claims court. It was not written in a way that would allow junk fax attorneys to collect millions of dollars, and this needs to be changed. The big problem with the $500 per fax law was that the junk fax attorneys were not happy with $500 per fax. It just was not worth their time. What I think they did was to convince the United States government into changing the fax law again to include the ability to create class action fax lawsuits. Now we are talking $20 million plus junk fax settlements. Class action lawsuits. Imagine that! Now the cost for an unsolicited fax can be up to $1,500, if a person knows he or she sent an unsolicited fax. Hello. Keep in mind that the cost of a one-page fax advertisement cost about 1/4 cent. 4 pages equals just 1 penny. Wow, that is a lot of money, right? How about we change the law to say that if you received an unsolicited fax, we will pay you a penny. We will pay you 4 times more than the cost of the paper and ink. Not $1,500 per fax. Come on now. Who came up with $1,500 per fax is all I want to know. Please give me a break. Today, the junk fax attorneys are literally putting small businesses out of business, such as restaurants, roofers, life and health insurance agents and many other kinds of businesses. I am talking about businesses that the great-grandfather or grandmother may have started from scratch 50 or 100 years ago, and worked their asses off so they could leave their business to their children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Most junk fax attorneys could care less about what family they hurt or put out of business. All they are thinking about is the almighty dollar and that multi-million-dollar settlement. Here is a good one for you. The Metropolitan Life Insurance Company just had to pay $23.5 million to settle a junk fax case because one of their agents was faxing out life insurance ads. Who do you think that MetLife will pass that cost on to? If you have a MetLife insurance policy, you might very well see your rates go up, because the junk fax attorneys won millions of dollars off the backs of MetLife policy holders. How fair is that, you might ask? The thing I don't understand is this. How can the plaintiff prove how many existing customers MetLife had that were sent a fax advertisement, where MetLife already had a business relationship or a life insurance policy with? I know that there are thousands of MetLife agents all over the country that make telemarketing calls every day to potential prospects that may have responded to a television or internet advertisement, and have actually talked over the phone with many of the fax recipients, therefore creating a business relationship. How can the courts determine how many consenting people who received a fax advertisement and were called by the MetLife agents find out exactly how many of these calls were made without surveying every fax number on the defendant's fax list that they claim the fax was sent to? The only fair way to be awarded a class certification should be if these facts were known before certifying the class action lawsuit. How do you determine how many class members there are without knowing this? How do you determine the amount of the proposed settlement if you cannot determine how many actual class members there really are? Maybe we should just guess. I think not. It's impossible to do this, and would be far too expensive for the plaintiff to do so, as he would have to survey everyone that fax advertisement was faxed to, which could be in the tens of thousands of recipients. The other thing is about the proper opt-out notice in question within the current fax laws. The FCC just gave a 6-month reprieve to all defendants on or about November 7, 2014, where if they did not have the proper opt-out notice, that the existing cases could actually be dismissed. The FCC rule is that, even if a fax is sent to an opt-in client, they still have to have a proper remove notice. But it was confusing as to what the law required, and that is why the FCC ordered the 6-month reprieve. God forbid should you be in a business where you are required to have business liability insurance. If you do, then the junk fax attorney could care less about whether you have any money or not. They do everything in their power to make the liability insurance company honor the liability claim they brought against you for sending unsolicited faxes. This is just another way they make millions of dollars. The good news is that most liability companies got smart to this injustice and inserted a clause in their contracts that specifically states that they do not cover TCPA claims. If you are a junk fax attorney, you may want to be sure to check to see if the defendant has liability insurance before you drag him or her through the ringer. Why is it that the United States government did not include junk fax numbers in the Do Not Call list? The Do Not Call list has absolutely nothing to do with the junk fax law. It happens to be that there are a lot of people that love to receive upcoming local events and money-saving offers by fax. People love the daily lunch specials, and in the case I mentioned earlier about the lady that lost her husband and was happy to have bought a life insurance policy before her husband passed away. She was grateful that the life insurance agent sent her and her late husband that life insurance fax. In that case, if it were not for receiving the fax and buying the life insurance policy, the wife would have had no money to bury her husband or pay his bills off when he passed away. Why is it that Canada has a Do Not Fax list included in their fax law? The Canada National Do Not Call list is administered by the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission, that enables Canadian residents to decide whether or not to receive telemarketing or fax calls. I will end by saying that the fax law is what it is, and maybe someday they will change the law so that junk fax attorneys will be forced to stop making millions of dollars off the backs of hard-working people that are just trying to make a living to take care of their families. If you are just a greedy junk fax attorney that wants to sue someone for sending a fax and you want to waste the court's time, money and resources because someone sent a fax advertisement and you think you can make millions, please be sure to check out my article about being careful that you don't end up with an empty bag. Please visit junkfaxdefense.com today, or email us at info@junkfaxdefense.com with any questions you may have. Thank you for your time and have a great day.